So you only have to look at trending topics to see what a mess the world is in. It's a tragic, difficult, scary world to live in at the moment. And it just made me think, why do we cling to fiction so much, and should we? And this might, seem a bit cheesy, but this extract always comes to my mind when I think about why art and fiction is so important during such turbulent times. And it's from one of my favourite fictional characters, Samwise Gamgee from The Lord of the Rings. And I just want to share it with you now and hope it'll bring you as much comfort as it's brought me. It's like the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end, because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come, and when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. I know now, folks in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going, because they were holding on to something. That there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. It's worth remembering that Tolkien fought in the trenches of World War I, and he waited in fear whilst his sons saw combat in World War II. And I think knowing this when you read or watch The Lord of the Rings, it brings so many different perspectives to mind, whether Tolkien intended it or not. And I think he probably did. What the ring symbolises, what power is, misplaced power. There's a lot you can connect with fiction to reality. So yes, fiction is important, very important. And the more reality starts to become overwhelming, the more its importance grows. Fiction can help us care and consider things from a fresh perspective. When I worked in education, social stories were a tool used to help students who struggle to consider things from other people's point of view. So different scenarios would be written in a story form so that the student could hopefully then see how others might feel based on their actions. If you're interested in social stories and how they work, there are loads of great resources on the likes of Twinkle. But I began to actually write my own and make them more specific to students and situations that had occurred throughout the week, problems that had come up. And they were mostly a very healing and successful method. I get quite emotional actually thinking about students, saying the likes of, "Oh, Miss, what happened to that person in that, in that story? That's like what happened to so-and-so last week, and did they feel sad too?" And it's, I'm not saying that everything was that straightforward or almost film-like, but there were some really, really goosebump moments. But my point is, stories were helping students to explore how they and others felt, rather than me telling them how they should feel. Stories and words really do have extraordinary power in helping people realise things for themselves and to explore their own emotions and feelings. And yes, terrible things happen and are happening on a worldwide basis or from a personal point of view in people's lives. And I'm aware that sitting somebody down with a social story isn't going to work in this scary world we're currently living in on a massive scale. However, I think stories also don't have to be explored for that reason. Stories can be used to escape. Should we feel guilty to escape to Middle Earth or Hogwarts or wherever your preferred fictional home is after watching the news? In my humble opinion, no, we shouldn't feel guilty. In fact, if it was down to me, I would insist upon it. Watching the 10 o'clock news, keeping up to date with everything going on, but then switching off and escaping to Hogwarts and pretending you've just been sorted into Hufflepuff or whatever. It's just important. For me, these fictional worlds offer the hope Samwise spoke of in the extract I read. These stories are always there, and they're solid and they're whole, no matter what else is happening. They're still there, they're still teaching, they're still inspiring, and they're still a consistent, safe place to escape to. And without realising, our reality is threading through these fictional worlds to answer some of the questions we're still afraid to ask. And that, I think, is, to quote Sam, definitely something worth fighting for. So let me know in the comments below your thoughts on fiction, and what have you learnt from stories, which stories bring you comfort, which stories have taught you some life lessons even, maybe. Okay, thanks for listening, guys. Bye.